Hey guys, welcome back to Zenkaya. So in the last video we have seen some important terminologies of cybersecurity or ethical hacking. Alright, so today in this video we are going to understand the basic networking concepts. So let me tell you first that networking is one of the fundamentals that you need to understand before starting with ethical hacking. Why? Because networking makes you understand how the whole internet is working. It is the birthplace of ethical hacking, let's say. Why? Because of this particular concepts of networking, the whole internet is existing right now. The simple concept that two people wants to contact or send some message to one another even if they are far apart from each other. That is the basic concept of networking. In English, if we think about this word networking, it simply means that to make some connections, to make some valuable connections, right? So in ethical hacking or from cybersecurity perspective, networking is nothing but the whole concept of how the whole internet is working. So let us understand one by one, layer by layer, and each concept is very important. Alright, it might be little long, but stick on. You have to promise me that you will see all these videos so that you get to clear all these concepts. Otherwise the next videos that will be coming in this particular channel you will not understand. So before starting the whole ethical hacking journey, we have to understand or build the fundamentals of networking. Without wasting time, let's start today's topic. So networking, what does networking means? I already told you it is nothing but two person wants to talk to each other in the internet or through this virtual machine. Okay, if we talk this machine, if let's say one people wants to talk, so how can they talk? Via the networking concept. So networking connect devices, enabling communication like emails, videos, calls, and your favorite memes. So if you look at the history of particular networking, you will understand that the whole concept of networking started from the war, that is Second World War. All the countries wanted to be powerful, so in that process they made some devices with which they can talk to each other. Alright, you can just search it in the Google, or in the later classes I will go more in depth on that, the history of internet and all, or the how the whole internet works. For now I'm just telling you from there the whole networking concept came, that is the World War. So networking is nothing but in order to connect or in order to talk with each other, how they have made this particular machine or the whole concept. Why learn networking? Because we need to understand how data travels. Data is traveling in the air, how it is traveling, through what medium it is traveling, what process it is traveling. So if you can understand how it is traveling, then only you can spot weak points, or hackers might exploit you if you do not know the whole security perspective. That is the reason we need to not only we have to use the whole internet but also to understand how it works. Otherwise it is just like you are just using the tool without understanding it. So in order to become the whole expert of cybersecurity, you need to have this whole networking concept very clear. So let's begin. Features of computer network. What are the features? Let's see one by one. First of all, resource sharing. The whole concept relies on how you share resources from one computer to another. Resource sharing is very important. Next is scalability. Scalability in the sense, am I able to send only one person, or am I able to send 10 person or lakhs and lakhs of person at the same time? That is, it should be scalable. Alright, at any point of time, if you think about internet now, you can send a message to thousands of people at a time at just a click. That is nothing but scalability. Next is reliability. Can you rely in that particular system? Can you trust that system? So the whole internet it seems that people are trusting, but if you have little bit knowledge, then no particular system is secured enough. Everything is hackable in some sense or the other. You need to have a lot of deeper knowledge on that, but I'm just saying from ethical hacking perspective that nothing seems to have 100% security. Alright, so next is performance and speed. Imagine you are sending some message to one friend and it takes half an hour. Is it a good system? No, it is not a good system. It needs to be, performance needs to be fast, and it should have some good speed. Next is security. Again, if you know that someone can read your message in between, then it is not a safe system for you, right? You won't trust the whole system, so it needs to be very secured. Next is manageability. Manageable. All right, can you customize, can you change it, can you manipulate the whole thing? So it needs to be manageable. All right, so all these are the features of computer networks. So the whole particularly today's internet consists of all these particular features. Without all these features, today's internet is not possible at all. So next, so one by one layer we will be covering all the concepts. So today's particular video is very, very important. All right, make sure you open your eyes and listen to me very, very patiently. So next is types of network. So there are 4 types of network basically. There is PAN, LAN, MAN and WAN. I'm sure you must have heard this particular concept somewhere or the other in your lifetime. So let's see one by one. It is very easy, quite easy. I'm not going to waste that much time. First is personal area network. Imagine you are not connected to the whole world, but you are just connected to your phone. All right, so let's say I have turned on my hotspot and I'm connecting one devices. In that devices or in a room, I have connected 4 to 5 devices. So that is nothing but personal area network. Next comes LAN, that is local area network. So LAN is little bigger than PAN. Let's say in a college one Wi-Fi is there. With that Wi-Fi all the students are connected. That is nothing but local area network. Now again, next is MAN. Obviously it is in sequence. All right, it is one after another. MAN is nothing but metropolitan and area network. That is, you can think it as city. All right, in a city the whole broadband, the bigger one, or the whole tower, let's say that tower is giving network to all the nearby areas. Okay, that you can think it as metropolitan area network, internet service provider. So next after that is wide area network, where the whole world is connected. All right, so example is internet, World Wide Web. Okay, I can send a message from here to US, and that friend who stays in US. So that is possible because of wide area network, that is internet. All right, I hope you have understood. These are types of network. Next, so some important terminologies are there. Again, I told you that in the whole cybersecurity or ethical hacking subject, there are a lot of terminologies, important terms that you need to understand. Without understanding those terms, you cannot go forward. So some of the terms are ISP, IP address, MAC address, ports and protocols. So today in this video we will be looking at each one of these particular topics. All right, just have patience. Without patience you cannot do anything in life. You have to understand the importance of time, and you have to realize the fact that the biggest motivation of our life is nothing but time and death. Once you understand these 2 big things in your life, your half of your problems will be gone, because you will realize that you don't have time, and you understand the second fact that you have a limited time. It is not for forever. All right, so let's learn it. Let's give our 100% with that. So next, first one is ISP, internet service provider. So if you think of our internet, let's say I'm using hotspot is of, let's say, 10 meter. So it cannot go beyond that. So let's say a Wi-Fi can again go, let's say, 10 meter. Alright, max to max 20 meter. So if you want a large area network, you need something bigger than that, bigger than Wi-Fi or bigger than hotspot. So that is provided by ISP, internet service provider. They have lot of towers throughout the country. All the countries are again connected by the wires inside the sea that I will be covering in some other video. But for now, ISP, internet service provider, is nothing but all the big companies. If in India, if I talk about all big companies like Jio, Airtel, Vodafone, or what are those? All those are internet service provider. Alright, they will provide you the internet or the connection that you need. It is not a miracle. It is the whole process of connecting with one another, from whether it is wireless or wired one. It is all science. All right, it is not a miracle. So if you have to have the curiosity to understand how exactly it is working. It is your responsibility to have the curiosity and not only use it just like a dumb fellow. All right, just using the internet. No, it is not. You have to have curiosity. So ask yourself a question: how the internet is working, how the Wi-Fi is working, what kind of concepts are involved there. So that is nothing but internet service provider. It provides you the internet that you are using right now, seeing this video. All right, that is nothing but internet service provider. Next is IP address, one of the most important concepts in particular networking. It is just like if we talk about humans, we have particularly a name. So for all the devices in the world, it have particular IP address. If you are connected to any internet, you have to have IP address, so that the one person have to connect to you, let's say. Alright, this is Ram, this is Sham. So if Ram have to talk to Sham, it have to know the name of this particular device. So let's say this is Sham, this is Ram. If Sham wants to connect to Ram, it needs to send a letter to Ram. Just like that, in the internet, it is recognized by a name that is known as IP address. All right, it is your device home address on the internet. It is represented by some numbers that we will see, but you need to understand that IP address is nothing but it is a name or the nickname that is recognized in the whole internet. You will be recognized by that particular name. All right. So there are types of IP addresses that we will see, but in short, it is nothing but your address. All right, address of your particular address, you can say, or the name by which, or the identity factor by which your device is identified in the whole internet. So let's see next, what are the types. There are two types of IP address, IPv4 and IPv6. So again, there are two types, as I told you. IPv4 is the earlier version, IPv6 is the newer version. Why they have shifted to IPv6, that I'll tell you. But if you look at this particular IPv4 address format, how it is represented by 4 divisions are there. Each division is called octet: first octet, second octet, third octet, and fourth octet. Okay, it is denoted by decimal, and those decimal can be converted into binary. All right, can be converted into binary, and those binary can be described by 8 bits. One bit is 0 or 1, that is binary. So if you see here, it is nothing but 8 bits are there. So 8 bits equal to 1 byte. So there are 4 sections, so that is 4 bytes are there, and that is nothing but 32 bits, right? So 4 total bytes are there and total 32 bits are there. This is how you are recognized in the whole internet. There is something called IPv4 and IPv6. So right now we are talking about IPv4. Next is IPv6. Again, it is a hexadecimal. Here it was decimal, and here it is hexadecimal. Each and every here, if you see, there are 8 octets. Okay, 8 divisions are there. If you can see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 divisions are there. And again, each and every divisions are nothing but 16. That is again hexadecimal, and you can calculate. So there are 128 total bits. Okay, 128 total bits. That is nothing but 16 into 8. All right, so that is how it is find. But now you need to understand that why this IPv4 have like what are the difference, why we need two types of IP address, why not one. So let us see the difference so that we can understand why exactly it is used. So if you can see here, IPv4 32-bit numbers are there that we have seen. All right, 32 bits numbers are there in order to recognize you in the whole internet. IPv6 128-bit number are there. So basically you can see IPv4 is 32-bit and IPv6 is 128-bit. That is larger number. Larger number means more combinations. As simple as that. Don't complicate it. All right. Address format, dotted decimal notation. You can see address format is hexadecimal notation. It is denoted by FE80. So all these numbers you can, for this you need to know the number system properly. It is all there in number system. Next is look at this particular thing. This is the most important, number of addresses. So 2 to the power 32. It is somewhere around 4 billion. Somewhere around 4 billion addresses can be formed from this IPv4. All right. So this IPv6, if you see 2 to the power 128, that is nothing but 3.4 trillion something. All right. Why it is used? Because I'll tell you the reason, simple reason why. Because here if you can see 4 billion, right? So if I search here, how many active internet user in the world, let's see how many people are using. All right, so if you can see here, 5.56 billion people are using. That is a simple reason that 2 to the power 32 is something around 4 billion. So it is not enough. There are more 1 billion people needed, right? More 1 billion addresses are needed. That is the reason IPv6 has been introduced, and it is being introduced slowly and steadily. It is not like totally whole internet is using IPv6. No, IPv4 is also being used, but it is just that people are shifting. All the newer devices, IoT devices are shifting slowly and steadily. All right, if I talk about your device will have both IPv4 and IPv6. But you will ask again, how is it possible? All right, how IPv4 is possible? Because in the whole world at the same time, all the 5.5 billion people are not using it. A simple common sense, right? Because at some part it is day, at some part it is night, and at the same time it is not possible that all the people are using internet. All right, that is how it is being dynamically allocated. The IP address that you have, that is public address, it is dynamically allocated to you by your internet service provider. It is not fixed. I will give you the example that it is not fixed. I cannot do it right now. If I have to tell you one experiment, that what you can do is you can just search here, let's say how to find IP address, that is public IP address. All right, there are two types of IP address again, public and private. I'll come to that again, but let's say directly you can search what is my IP address. So what is my IP address? If you see, there's a first website that you can directly find. So here you can see this is, let's say this is my particular IP address of my Wi-Fi, not my device, again Wi-Fi, that is public IP address. So this is my public IP address, and you can see here all this information. But the important point is, this is not my fixed IP address. Why? Because if I switch off the router and if I keep it sometime, let's say 2 minutes off, and again I switch it on, it might be possible that this whatever number we are getting, it is not same. All right, that you need to understand, that the IP address is not fixed one, it is dynamic in nature. It is a very, very important point. So you can do this experiment and check out whether you are getting the same IP address or not. All right, let me not do it because I'm in the middle of the explanation. I have to search something. It will be time taking process. So, but you can do it. So that is how IPv4 and IPv6 are being divided. Do not get confused. IPv4 is the smaller version. IPv6 is the larger version. Slowly and steadily the whole world is changing towards IPv6. So this is how you can find out your IPv4 and IPv6. Next, So there is some see, there are two ways to find out your IP address. Again, I told you there is something called public and private. I'll explain you one by one, but right now we have searched in the internet, that is nothing but public IP address. All right, that is public, that is publicly available in the whole internet. If anyone is sending me, it have to send through public, as simple as that. So my one is IP Mac OS. So if I want my public, I have to write this curl in config.me, and if it is private, I have to write IP config get if adder en0. This is how you can find in Mac OS. If you're using Linux, you can use this. If you're using Windows, you can use this. Each and every device have one public and private. Right now in the browser we have seen this as a public. How public and private, I'll explain you, but you have to understand this. You can try this out. Okay, I'm not trying this exactly right now because my system might get hanged right now. All right, so you can just note it down or take a screenshot of that so that you can use it later. This is a very important, this you will have to use while hacking. All right, very important syntax, command line syntax. Okay, let me go to the next point. So there are types of IP addresses. I already told you there is something called public and private. Let us first look at public and private. After that we'll look at static and dynamic. So public and private, the name itself says one is public, one is private. So I'll show you the difference here. So first of all, private and public, I'll show you the diagram. Look at here. So observe here. Let's say this is internet. This is internet. All the devices are connected through public. Okay, this is, let's say, public, this is public, and this is public. In this public, if it have to communicate with other devices, then it have to communicate through public only. But in that public, let's say this is my router, inside that all devices are connected and each and every devices has a separate name, that those particular nickname are known as private. Let's say, see, private can interact with another private using private IP address. Alright, it is possible that this computer and this computer are communicating through private because it is in the same network. But imagine this private network wants to communicate with this, then it cannot communicate because this, it needs to send the message in this public, and from this public it needs to find that particular public and it needs to convert it into private, and then it have to search which device is it. As simple as that. If you need to communicate with another network, then you need to communicate through public, and if you want to communicate in the same network, you can communicate in the private. As simple as that. I hope you have understood. So let's look at the difference. So usage, if you see internet network communication, if I am connected to this network and my friend is also connected, I can directly communicate through private. No public is required. But if I have to communicate with external, that is my friend staying in US, then I have to use public. Alright, connectivity not accessible over the internet. Private, you cannot find anyone's private because private can be common in nature. If you see this, let's say 192.168.1.2, this one can also have 192.168.1.2 because the numbers that you are getting in private are given by your router. Okay, there is something called DHCP. We'll come to in the next videos. We'll come to know all those topics, but for now you just need to understand your router gives you the particular number and it can be common. All right, the whole point is it can be common, but the public address cannot be common because if it is common, it means communication will happen. All right, as simple as that. Accessible over the internet, the public IP address. Next is assigned by router within the local network. Alright, assigned by internet service provider. So public is assigned by internet service provider, private is assigned by router. Alright, very useful. Reusability can be reused across different private network. The same private network it can have by different people, but unique across the entire internet because name should be unique, otherwise miscommunication will happen. Security enhanced, not exposed to the internet. It is more safer, more vulnerable exposed to the internet because if I'm showing you the public, then the whole internet can see my public IP address. All right, That is different thing, that it is not fixed one. I'll come to the next point. Example that you can see, there are examples given. IP range is something, so you can see the IP range, any combination of number not reserved for private used. For private, specific range will be there that you have to take. Next, I hope you have understood this diagram also. Very simple, quite simple. Do not make it complicated. Next comes dynamic and static IP address. What is dynamic and static IP address? So imagine you are surfing something in Google. Google is a website that is hosted in some server. Some server it is hosted. It cannot be hosted in the air, or like God is not hosting Google. Someone in there, the owner of the Google is hosting the server. It is a website that is hosted in some server. That particular server have IP address, and that IP address they have to keep it static. Why? Google have lot of IP addresses in it because it is a large organization, right? But what I'm saying is it have to be fixed. Why? Because people are searching it. When they are searching it have to go through the same network and to the same particular place or the server. That's why it have to be static. So whenever you host something in the internet, you will have a static IP address, or let's say the normal IP address. Let's say normal user, I am surfing it, so I don't have to have the static one because it can be changed. I'm just surfing it, I'm not hosting it. Alright, if you have to host, you need to take the domain name, and that have to be static. Okay, domain name, and it have to be connected with that IP address so that people can search that domain name and they will find your website. That is how it works. Dynamic, we are having dynamic. As I told you, the experiment, if you switch off the router, your public address will change. There's a high possibility. That is why dynamic. IP address can change, better suited for home internet. The internet we are using, it is dynamic in nature. No configuration required from the user. IP address is permanent, better suited for business. Configuration required from user. I'll just show you one example here. So observe here. Let's say I am taking out terminal and I am just writing a simple command call. Let's say I am just writing ping.com. Okay, this is a simple command to ping to check whether it is responding, so you can check it out. So here I'm just showing you that I am sending some packets to Google and Google is responding me through this particular IP address. So Google is also having that IP address. Google is nothing but domain name system. Alright, they have taken the name google.com, but behind that particular google.com there is address that is being saved with that particular name. Alright, so this is the public address. Alright, so each and every website in the internet is having their own address. I hope you have understood this concept of dynamic and static. Very, very, very important. Alright, so there are 4 types: public, private, dynamic and static. I hope you have understood this. It is very clear. Do not be confused. Keep it simple, and no need to go that much in depth right now, as because you are learning, you are starting it. Okay, don't put too much pressure in it. You'll have to learn slowly and steadily. Just keep patience. That is important. Subnetting. So subnetting is nothing but dividing a large network in a organized manner. Let's say huge 1,000 students are there. What I can do, I can divide it into 10 groups, 100 groups. Okay, and those 100 groups I will give one a person. I will dedicate that person to those 100 persons, so that that person can take care of that 100 people. All right, that is how it is. The whole concept is known as subnetting. So you will not understand this right now in depth that much. As we keep going on in this particular series, whenever is required, we will see for this topic called subnetting. Alright, for now you just understand, in order to divide the large network into smaller parts so that we can manage it and manipulate it in a better way. That's why subnetting concept is being used. So as simple as that. Next is MAC address. So the logical address, IP address is often said as logical address, alright, and the MAC address is often known as physical address. Why physical address? Because each and every machine in the whole world is physically available, alright, we can touch it. So each and every system that you have some address attached to it. That is nothing but media access control. MAC address, media access control. I hope you are getting it. So it is physical address, that is logical address. All right, so what are the characteristic of it? A unique identifier assigned to a network interface card. There is something called NIC in each and every system. In it, NIC will assign you some number that is known as media access controller. So that is nothing but MAC address. So 48-bit address will be there. That is nothing but 8 bits into 6 divisions. That is how 6 8s are 48. Local, used in local network communication. All right, so it will have logical and physical. It needs both in order to communicate. So permanent and hardware based. It is said that it is permanent, but through some ways you can change your MAC address. Also, it is known as spoofing, that we'll see in the coming videos. So normally it is permanent, your MAC address will be permanent, but through some spoofing process you can change your MAC address also. So media access control address. So you can see there are 8 division. Each and every 8 division is a hexadecimal again, and each and every have 8 bits. So 8 into 6 is 48. It is divided into 2 parts, that is organizational unique identifier. Next is network interface controller specific. All right, 2 parts are divided, 3 parts. What are those? Let's say organizational unique identifier. Organizational means, let's say my laptop is from Apple. Apple will have take this particular 3 boxes in order to fill their numbers. All right, they will have particular numbers. Samsung will have their own particular numbers, because different organization have different numbers. Next is network interface controller system. So that is basically network. My device will have this particular 3 boxes. All right, so organizational will have this 3 boxes, and my particular device, that is in order to identify my device, it will take the 3 boxes. As simple as that. One is organizational unique identifier. Next is network interface controller specific. Do not be confused, keep it simple. Slowly and steadily we'll learn. Next, so you can check your MAC address by using this particular syntax, that is in Mac you can just use ifconfig en0 or grep ether. In Linux ifconfig grep ether. In Windows ipconfig/all. These are the syntax that you can use. You can try it out. I'm not trying it because it will be a little slower in my PC right now. All right, so you can check it. You will get your MAC address. And another way is you can just go in your device and also check manually. So there are 2 different ways. So next, we have seen IP address, we have seen MAC address. Next comes ports. Ports are again a logical path. Okay, you can think it as if I have a home, there are different windows or there are different doors by which we can communicate in the sense we can go out and we can come in. That is the route, or that is the path by which we can come in and go out. So just like that, our own devices have something called ports through which they can communicate. In other words, those are nothing but paths. So the first thing is path features. Next is communication. It is used for communication only on open ports. Imagine my home is there, but all my home windows and doors are closed. Can you come inside? You cannot come inside, right? In order to communicate, you need to have open ports. It is as simple as that. There are basically 65,535 ports are there in all the system. In general, there are 65,535 ports are there. So one port at a time. It will work one port at a time. Okay, in one port, one process can run. Multiple processes cannot run in one port. That is the reason they are giving that many ports at a time. So those ports are again divided into some divisions. What are the divisions? So basically 0 to 1023 are kept for well-known ports. All right, let's say you need to send emails, you need to use your TCP IP protocol. In those, all the protocols will use different ports. All right, let's say application, my WhatsApp, or the different protocols, SMTP, all those different protocols, SSH. All right, so all those different protocols will take some path in order to run those protocols. So those are well-known ports. Okay, so basically 0 to 1023 are kept for all well-known ports. All the communication will happen on those well-known ports. Okay, as simple as that. Next is registered ports. Okay, these are registered for particular task. you cannot use all this. Already these are registered. It is like those are committed people. You cannot, you know, hang out with them, or you cannot have a chance with them, because those are committed people. All right, so 102.242 49,151 are the ports that are registered ports. Next is dynamic ports. If any other communication needs to happen, it will happen in this particular, these are single people, they can roam with anyone. All right, these are dynamic ports. Okay, so 49,152 to 65,535 are the open ports, with whom if any two application needs to run, then they can run in that particular ports. All right, they can communicate in that particular ports. So it is very, very important. You need to understand this thing. I hope you have understood. Again, very simple. Next, the last concept of today's video, that is nothing but protocols. In simple word, it is a set of rules. Imagine you are running an internet and all the unknown video, all the random videos are popping up in your computer. Will it be good? No, it won't be a good experience. So just like our world, it is running by some set of rules or set by government. So just like that, our internet is also having some rules that needs to be followed by the internet users. Okay, that rules are called protocols, set of rules, how data is being transmitted. Okay, so it is developed by all the different scientists. Okay, it is not one day thing. Rome was not built in a day. Just like that, the whole internet is not built in a day. It is a slow process of all the efforts done by scientists. All right, so we have to respect those scientists. Because of them, we can now talk to any person in the whole world. We can do video call, we can just send message. So it is so handy. In some other way, it is so useful to us. Those particular scientists have sacrificed for us, right? So how data is being transmitted, device communication, how communication will occur, so everything is in that particular protocols. All right, so let's look at different protocols. So you don't need to worry about all these different protocols. These are some common protocols. Let's say HTTP used to serve the, if you are serving browser, then this particular protocol needs to be followed. That is rule, it is a rule that needs to be followed, HTTP, and it will have particular ports to run it in a different port. Okay, it will take one port and it will run this particular protocol, HTTP. All right, next is HTTPS. It is a advanced version, that is secure version of hypertext transfer protocol again. All right, FTP, file transfer protocol, TCP, transmission control protocol. It is one of the most fundamental concept that you need to understand. In the next video we'll see IP address. Just now we have seen internet protocol, IP address, UDP, user datagram protocol, simple mail transfer protocol. It is used to send emails and all. SSH, secure shell. All right, if you want to communicate it with one another system without internet, then you can communicate through SSH shell also, secure shell. So these are all different rules that needs to be followed. All right, do not keep too much pressure on this right now, as you won't understand right now, as you are just starting. Just make sure that you understand, okay, these are some rules, and these rules will use some of the different ports in order to communicate with other devices. There are more other protocols. I have just given some well-known protocols. Okay, these are well-known rules that needs to be followed. So you need to understand the whole internet is run by rules. Okay, that I'll go elaborate in again how internet works. So last, we are done with today's video. I hope you have understood. So last slide is remaining, that is fun networking fact. The first message sent over ARPANET. ARPANET was the organization which had made those particular connections. All right, in a simple word, network. That networking concept has been introduced by them, ARPANET, and they have sent low. The system crashed after the first two letters of login. So one person was sending login to another person, and low was being transferred. After that, the system has been crashed. Okay, so this is a common fact that you need to understand. Next is fiber optic cable carry data at nearly the speed of light. The second fastest thing that travels in the world, that is data. That is the reason when you send a message to your friend, it reaches in a seconds. How it reaches? Because data travels at the nearly at the speed of light, not exactly but nearly at speed of light, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, thinner than a human hair. Alright, we'll see this fiber optics and all in the next videos. Your internet data can travel across ocean via undersea cable. Okay, India, it is connected through big towers, but in across all other countries it is connected through wires below the oceans, that we will see how it happens and all. But for now you need to understand all the countries are connected by wires below the sea, and sharks sometimes nibble on them, so sharks sometimes plays with your cables. All right, that is again an interesting fact. So I think it is done. Next day we will see OSI model, one of the fundamentals one. But yeah, if you are watching till here, then I would like to thank you first of all, because you have passed the patient test, that not all people will have patience, but if you are still here, I congratulate you that you have patience and you will be surely successful one day or the other. And thank you for watching this video. I hope you are understanding and enjoying the vibe. Yeah, if you have anything to tell me, just let me know in the comment box. And that's it. Thank you for watching. We'll meet in the next video.